The night began quietly, just like any other. Cities across Earth were alive with their normal rhythm. Lights glowed in towers, families sat together for dinner. Children laughed while watching cartoons, and workers hurried through busy streets. No one knew that within minutes the world would change forever. It started with screens. Television sets, mobile phones, digital billboards, and even the old radio suddenly crackled. People thought it was a power glitch at first. The noise spread fast. Every screen on Earth flickered black. Then a strange alien symbol appeared, glowing red as if carved from fire. The sound that followed was not like anything human ears were used to. It was sharp, layered, and full of malice. It felt as though it cut into the bones of every listener. When the picture cleared, the truth made every heart stop. On the screens, millions of human prisoners were shown trapped inside giant cages. Men, women, and children from every corner of the world stood there, terrified. They were still wearing the same clothes from the moments they had been abducted. Some were in school uniforms, some in hospital gowns, some in work clothes. The cages were stacked high like towers, and alien guards moved around with weapons that pulsed with blue light. The alien voice spoke in broken human language. "Your world is weak. Your people are ours. Watch now, humans. Learn your place." And then the horror began. The broadcast shifted to a massive arena, larger than any stadium on Earth. Millions of humans were marched forward. They were ordered to kneel. Some resisted, but the alien weapons forced them down. Families clutched each other, children screamed, and parents tried to shield them even though they knew there was no escape. The cameras zoomed in to show every detail. Aliens wanted Earth to see. With a single command, the massacre started. Weapons fired in unison, tearing through human bodies. Explosions followed, and rivers of fire filled the arena. Millions of voices cried out and were silenced in moments. Blood ran like streams across the alien floor. The broadcast did not look away. It showed everything. On Earth, families screamed in front of their screens. In one house, a mother fell to her knees, recognizing her son among the prisoners. In another city, a father threw his television to the ground, unable to watch his daughter die. Children cried, not understanding why people who looked like them were being slaughtered. But the aliens were not finished. They wanted more than death. They wanted humiliation. After killing millions, the alien leader walked forward. His figure was tall, armored in black plates with glowing red eyes that stared directly into the cameras. His voice was cold and filled with arrogance. 7 million of your kind are gone. This is only the beginning. Resist and we will erase your world. Accept your weakness and perhaps some of you will live as slaves. The screens then showed the bodies, 7 million lives destroyed, piled high under alien lights. The stench of smoke and ash carried even through the broken speakers. Silence spread across Earth. Entire cities stopped. Traffic froze on highways. Workers abandoned their tools, students left classrooms. People everywhere stood motionless, staring at the horror that no one could erase from their minds. For a moment, humanity felt powerless, but under that silence, something else was growing. Leaders sat in hidden bunkers, their hands clenched in fury. Soldiers across Earth swore vengeance, their faces hard with anger. Scientists in secret labs whispered that the time had finally come to use the weapons they had hidden for decades. Ordinary people too felt the fire. Mothers who had lost children, fathers who had lost sons, and children who had lost parents. All of them looked up at the sky with the same thought. The aliens wanted to show humans as weak prey. Instead, they had lit a fire that would never burn out. The broadcast ended with alien laughter echoing in every home. Every street, every corner of Earth. The screens went black, but the image remained inside human minds. 7 million dead, murdered for entertainment, their deaths broadcast like a cruel show. It was a warning from the aliens, but to humanity it became a promise. The world had seen enough, and in the silence after the broadcast, Earth was no longer divided by borders or flags. It was no longer about nations or governments. It was about survival. Every human heart carried the same vow: this would never be forgiven. The aliens believed they had won a victory that night. They believed humanity would bow down in fear. They did not know that they had written their own death sentence, because from that moment, humanity began to change. What began with the death of 7 million would end with the extinction of an empire. The world did not sleep after the broadcast. Cities that once glowed with life were drowned in silence. Neon lights still flickered, cars still stood on empty roads, and houses still held families, but no one moved. It felt as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Everywhere, people whispered the same words. 7 million. Gone. Television anchors could not speak. Reporters sat frozen, their faces pale. Even those who had trained their whole lives to stay calm during disasters broke down on live news. Soldiers who had fought wars before looked at the screens with fists clenched, tears streaming silently down their cheeks. But in that silence, something began to shift. In underground bunkers, hidden for decades beneath mountains, the doors opened. Inside, leaders from every country sat together for the first time in history. Men and women who once argued over borders now sat shoulder to shoulder. Flags were removed from the walls. No nation mattered anymore. Humanity itself was the only nation left. A general spoke, his voice like gravel. They wanted fear. They will get fire instead. Another leader raised her hand. Our people are broken. But broken things can be sharpened. We need to prepare, not just for defense, but for vengeance. Around the world, secret projects that had been kept in shadows were revealed. Files were opened, codes unlocked, and weapons long considered too dangerous for use were placed back into the light. Scientists who had waited for this day stepped forward, their faces lit with grim determination. In one underground facility, a massive cannon was brought online, its barrel stretching through rock toward the sky. In another, engineers worked on sleek starfighters, their wings folded like blades. But this preparation was not only military. Ordinary people also rose in silence. Farmers stopped plowing fields and instead carried steel to factories. Teachers volunteered to train as medics. Children who had lost parents swore they would fight when they were old enough. Humanity was wounded, but the wound had become a spark. Meanwhile, the aliens celebrated in their own corner of the galaxy. Inside their colossal ships, they replayed the broadcast for entertainment, laughing at human weakness. They did not know what was happening on Earth. They believed humans were already broken, but Earth was not broken. It was becoming sharper, harder, deadlier. In the streets of cities, graffiti appeared overnight. Not in one country, but everywhere at once. 3 words written in hundreds of languages. Never forgive. Never forget. Families built shrines for the dead, lighting candles for the 7 million who had been slaughtered. Names were read aloud in homes, in churches, in mosques, in temples, in schools. Children repeated them, memorized them. Humanity made sure those who died would not be shadows. Their memory became a weapon. Military bases around the world drilled day and night. The sound of boots hitting the ground replaced the silence. The hum of aircraft filled the skies. Even those who had never picked up a weapon before learned to fight. Women, men, and even the elderly trained their hands for survival. But above all, what changed was unity. There was no longer east or west, no longer rich or poor. Humanity had been humiliated in front of the galaxy. But that humiliation became the fuel for something unstoppable. A young scientist, only 20 years old, whispered to her team as she connected wires to a glowing engine. They think we are prey. Let's show them what prey can become. In secret labs, weapons that bent light and hacked alien signals were created. Drones the size of insects learned to pierce through armored hulls. Satellites hidden in Earth's orbit were reprogrammed to strike like falling stars. Humanity was building not just to survive, but to strike back harder than anyone imagined. The silence was no longer weakness. It was patience. The alien leaders, blind with arrogance, believed their broadcast had ended the war before it began. They did not see the change in human eyes. They did not hear the vow spoken in quiet homes and crowded shelters. A vow repeated in every language, whispered like a prayer. We will erase them. And so the storm was forming. Hidden beneath the calm surface, it grew larger every day. When it finally broke, it would not be a simple battle. It would be a fire that consumed everything the aliens had ever built. Earth was waiting, and the galaxy had no idea what was about to come. Months passed after the massacre. The silence of Earth had turned into a rhythm of preparation. Day and night, factories worked without rest. Ships were built in hidden hangars, weapons polished, codes rewritten. Humanity had been humiliated, but now the whole planet moved with one heartbeat. The aliens, far from Earth, remained blind. They believed humans were still drowning in grief. Their broadcast mocked Earth again and again, calling them weak. They promised to return, to finish the job, to enslave the survivors. They laughed while replaying the footage of the 7 million who had been slaughtered. But behind the clouds of Earth, something new waited. When the alien fleet finally returned, their ships darkened the skies. Enormous vessels shaped like blades and beasts descended through the atmosphere. Their thrusters burned bright, casting shadows over cities. The aliens expected fear. They expected silence. They expected humans to kneel. Instead, they were met with fire. The first strike came from orbit. A hidden cannon, buried under the mountains of South America, roared to life. Its shot tore through the sky faster than lightning and smashed into the lead alien cruiser. The ship cracked open in a blinding flash, breaking into pieces before it could even fire. The aliens froze in disbelief. Then Earth unleashed everything. Dozens of railguns hidden in deserts and oceans fired upward. Jets armed with experimental weapons cut through the skies. From beneath the seas, submarines launched swarms of drones that rose like black clouds. Satellites in orbit turned into weapons, releasing blasts of focused energy. The aliens had expected a broken people. Instead, they had awakened a predator. The battle was chaos. Alien ships rained plasma fire, lighting the skies in green and red. Towers fell, seas boiled, and cities shook. But humanity did not retreat. They fought back with fury. Soldiers on the ground fired shoulder cannons that pierced alien armor. Civilians who had trained in secret joined the defense, guiding drones and targeting enemy engines. In one city, an alien warship hovered low, ready to destroy everything below. Before it could strike, a swarm of human drones smashed into its hull, tearing it apart from the inside. On live feeds across Earth, people cheered for the first time since the massacre. The aliens began to panic. They had believed humanity's weapons were primitive. But Earth had changed. Every shot was stronger than the last, every strike more precise. Captured alien technology, studied in secret labs, had been turned into deadly tools. The invaders realized too late that they were facing not a weak race, but a united world filled with rage. A captured alien broadcast filled the airwaves. Their own voices screamed in panic. "They are not prey, they are fire!" But Earth was not finished. At the height of the battle, a new weapon was revealed. A massive ship, built in orbit from pieces smuggled into space for decades, uncloaked above the Earth. Its hull gleamed like black steel, its engines glowing like suns. Humanity had named it the Vengeance. The ship's first strike split an alien carrier in half. Its second destroyed 3 more. The aliens had superior numbers, but they no longer had control. For the first time, fear spread among them. From space, debris rained down like burning stars. Alien bodies and broken machines fell into the seas. Humanity's defenders pushed harder, their voices echoing across radios and comms. For the 7 million, every soldier shouted it. Every pilot whispered it. It became the cry of Earth's wrath. By the time the smoke cleared, the alien fleet was shattered. Thousands of their ships floated dead in orbit, and the survivors retreated into deep space. But humanity did not celebrate, not yet. They knew this was only the beginning. The massacre had not been forgiven. The screams of 7 million still haunted their minds. This battle was only Earth's first answer, not the final one. In the war rooms, generals stood over holographic maps showing alien systems. Their eyes burned with determination. "They wanted us broken," one said. "Instead, they forged us. And now we take this fire to them." The world listened as leaders spoke on a united broadcast for the first time. A message was sent across every channel, every frequency, even hijacking alien signals. The voice was calm, steady, and cold. "To those who slaughtered our people, hear this. Humanity is coming. We will not stop until your kind no longer exists. This is not war. This is justice." The galaxy listened, and far beyond the stars, the aliens realized what they had created. They had tried to break humanity. Instead, they had awakened something far deadlier. The smoke above Earth had not cleared when the decision was made. Humanity would not wait for the aliens to return. They would not give them another chance to gather strength. This was no longer defense, it was pursuit. The fire of vengeance had grown too strong to remain on Earth. Factories worked without pause. Alien wreckage was dragged from seas and deserts, studied and torn apart. Within weeks, human engineers learned to copy and improve alien engines. New starships, forged from both human steel and alien technology, rose into the skies. Each one carried the same message painted on its hull: for the 7 million. Families said goodbye to their soldiers with heavy hearts, knowing many would not return. But none hesitated. Humanity had seen death before, yet now death had given them unity. The first mission began quietly. A small fleet of human warships entered alien space, cloaked with hacked alien signals. They moved like shadows, slipping past enemy patrols. Their target was a supply world, a planet that produced weapons and fuel for the alien empire. The strike was sudden, and merciless alien workers looked up at the sky to see dozens of fire trails cutting through the clouds. Explosions followed as human missiles struck factories and fuel lines. Fire spread across the planet in minutes. Alien commanders scrambled to respond, but Earth's new fleet moved with speed they could not match. One by one, their defenses fell. Towers collapsed, hangars burned, and within hours the planet was nothing but smoke and ash. For the first time in history, it was the aliens watching a broadcast of their own kind dying in millions. Humanity had captured their communication systems and sent the destruction live across their empire. The message was clear: you showed us our dead. Now we show you yours. The galaxy trembled, but Earth did not stop. Strike after strike followed. Human fleets spread like wildfire through alien space, targeting colonies, stations, and factories. Each battle was fought with precision, each victory carved in blood. At first, the aliens tried to resist. They gathered fleets larger and more advanced than anything humanity should have been able to face. But something had changed. Humans did not fight like before. They fought with desperation, with fury, with unity. A small squad of human fighters could defeat a force 3 times their size. Commanders who once argued over borders now planned together as one. Even when outnumbered, humanity's fleets moved like a single organism, striking from shadows and vanishing before the aliens could respond. The turning point came during the Battle of Klyros, a central alien stronghold. The alien fleet was massive, hundreds of ships circling their fortress world waiting to crush the invaders. Humanity arrived with only a fraction of that number. By all logic, they should have been destroyed, but logic had never explained humans. The battle began with silence. The aliens mocked them, broadcasting taunts across open channels. They laughed at the tiny human fleet, sure of their victory. Then the first human ship broke formation and charged, straight into their defenses. Alarms echoed across alien ships as the human vessel did something they did not expect. It exploded, but it was no simple explosion. The ship's core had been turned into a weapon, a new human invention made from alien energy. The blast was enormous, tearing through half the defensive fleet in one strike. The humans had sacrificed a single ship to open the gates of hell. Then the rest of the human fleet moved in. They struck fast, using captured alien codes to disable shields. Missiles rained, railguns roared, and boarding squads stormed alien ships. Chaos spread across the stronghold. In hours, the once mighty fortress of Klyros burned. The broadcast spread across the galaxy again. Not human screams this time, but alien cries. Their ships, their armies, their pride, falling one after another to the very species they had called weak. And as the fortress collapsed, a single human message echoed across every alien channel. Remember the 7 million. This is only the beginning. The galaxy understood then. Humanity was no longer prey. They were no longer the hunted. They were the hunters. The alien empire that once ruled with fear now shook with terror. Entire colonies fled before the humans arrived. Worlds surrendered without a fight. Even alien leaders began to whisper that perhaps humanity could not be stopped. Back on Earth, the people watched every broadcast with a mix of sorrow and pride. They still remembered the massacre, still mourned their dead. But now, for the first time, they felt justice taking shape. The war was no longer about survival. It was about extinction. The aliens had made a mistake when they showed Earth the slaughter of millions. They had not broken humanity. They had awakened something the galaxy had never seen before. And in the ruins of Klyros, under burning skies and shattered fleets, the truth was written in blood. This was the turning point. The hunted had become the executioners. The fall of Klyros had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The alien empire, once feared for centuries, now looked fragile. Colonies deserted, commanders betrayed each other, and whispers of defeat spread faster than fire. But humanity did not pause. They pressed forward, fueled by memory, by rage, by the vow they had sworn after the broadcast of 7 million deaths. Every soldier, every pilot, every scientist carried the same fire in their hearts. There would be no mercy. There would be no forgiveness. Fleet after fleet launched from Earth and its new outposts. Human warships, black and sharp, cut through space like blades. Wherever they appeared, alien systems fell. Factories burned, fleets shattered, fortresses crumbled. In the deepest halls of the alien capital, leaders gathered in panic. They argued, begged, shouted. Some demanded peace, others called for total destruction of Earth, but their voices trembled. For the first time in their history, they were afraid. And then the humans arrived. The final battle was unlike any before. The alien homeworld, once shining with towers and defenses, became a field of fire. Humanity had brought not just fleets, but vengeance shaped into weapons. Giant cannons floated in orbit, tearing apart entire cities with each shot. Swarms of drones blackened the skies. Boarding squads stormed into palaces and strongholds, fighting room by room, step by step. The aliens screamed for surrender. They sent signals begging for peace, but the humans did not answer. For every city destroyed, a voice whispered 7 million. For every ship burned, a cry echoed 7 million. For every alien who fell, humanity remembered. It was not war. It was execution. The alien leader who once mocked Earth on live broadcast was dragged before human soldiers. His armor cracked, his red eyes dim. He tried to speak, but no one listened. His voice was drowned by the silence of those who remembered their dead. His execution was not filmed, not broadcast, not even recorded. Humanity did not need to show it. His death was not a spectacle. It was simply the closing of a chapter. And with him, his entire species vanished. The alien homeworld burned until nothing but ruins remained. Their fleets drifted as wreckage, their colonies silent and empty. In the endless darkness of space, their empire ceased to exist. For the first time, Earth stood not as prey but as judge. Back on the blue planet, people gathered in streets, in homes, in fields. They watched the skies, waiting for news. When the final transmission came, there were no cheers, no wild celebrations. Instead, there was silence. The same silence that had fallen after the massacre, but this time it was different. It was not silence of fear. It was silence of respect. Candles burned across every city. Families held each other and whispered the names of the dead. The 7 million who had been slaughtered were remembered not as victims, but as the spark that had changed history. On a global broadcast, a single voice spoke. Calm, steady, without pride, their species is gone. Justice is complete. Let the galaxy know. Humanity forgets nothing. Humanity forgives nothing. That message spread across the stars. Other civilizations heard it, and fear settled in their hearts. No one would ever again look at humans as weak prey. No one would ever again dare to make a spectacle of human lives, because humanity had proven a truth the galaxy had ignored. Humans were not the fragile species others believed. They were fire, they were storm, they were vengeance. They could be broken, yes, but when broken, they became sharper, stronger, unstoppable. Generations later, children on Earth would grow up hearing the story. They would learn of the day 7 million were slaughtered, and the day Earth answered with extinction. They would carry the lesson in their blood. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not forget. And across the stars, in the ruins of once mighty alien worlds, silence reigned. No voices, no laughter, no life. Only ashes and shadows, reminders of what happens when humanity is pushed too far. The galaxy had learned. This was not just war. This was legacy.